So Marvel just recently announced a brand new Deadpool ongoing by the writer of Alyssa Wong, and I'm very excited for it because, as you can tell by my channel name and obviously from the background, I'm a huge Deadpool fan. Fucking love Deadpool. One of my probably the favorite character of all time for me, in terms of comics. And I'm very excited. I enjoy Alyssa Wong's work from her. My apologies. So Marvel announced a brand new Deadpool ongoing by the writer of Alyssa Wong, and I'm very excited for it. As you all know, fucking love Deadpool. One of my favorite characters of all time. Probably my favorite character of all time in terms of comics. Obviously, as you can tell by the channel name and the background, fucking love Deadpool. Love Deadpool. And Alyssa Wong is a writer I very much enjoy. I enjoy their work in Doctor Afra. I hope I'm spelling that right. I always misspell the name, and as well as I enjoy their current Iron Fist mini that they're currently doing. Really enjoy the new character and what they're doing with that series. So very excited for Deadpool to finally get an ongoing after the last one ended by Kelly Thompson, which I think should have gone on longer than it did. But there are some others that are there are some others that are not excited for it because Alyssa Wong tends to rub certain people the wrong way just by existing. And one of those people here is someone who goes by, let's see here. Sorry about this. I'm still fairly new to this. Hold on. By thinking critical. Now, as we can see here, cronyism, destroying Marvel Comics characters and universe. This is if I know correctly, he's largely referring to the character of Deadpool and Alyssa Wong being appointed as the writer for the book. And having watched this, I'd asked a friend of mine, to watch a little bit and tell me if he says anything that would get me, that would really set me off in terms of as the Deadpool expert I am. And he's like, there's a point here where he says something that I know that basically he knows for a fact is going to get me out. So let's watch it together. Let's see what this motherfucker has to say.
Sometimes it feels like we're stuck in a proverbial loop when it comes to Marvel Comics, assigning some of their bigger characters and titles to just really bad comic book writers over.
Really bad comic book writers. I mean, that's really subjective in all honesty. There are some writers that are good. There are some writers that are bad. I mean, it's all really subjective. So
over and over again, feels like possibly they just
playback speed of around 1.5, so we can go this a little faster.
Run out of talent, or maybe their editorial staff just don't know anyone better. One of the most recent examples is Alyssa Wong failing her way up to Deadpool.
Failing her way up. Really? Failing their way up. All right. I just want to know how the fuck does someone fail to success, but hopefully this person will tell us.
Which is kind of a good sign for the company. They're being a little bit less racist with their hiring practices. She's actually being allowed to write a non-Asian character, which I guess is a plus for Marvel Comics. But for Deadpool fans and Marvel Comics fans, it's not really a plus. Why are you giving more projects to Alyssa Wong, who's never actually sold a comic book in her life? In this week's adventure,
never sold a comic book in their life. Alyssa Wong became known from her comic of Overwatch, which was very successful. It's one of the reasons why Alyssa Wong got a job at Marvel in the first place. If anything, I'm genuinely surprised Alyssa got a job at Marvel, considering the fact they called out Sapolsky, for that whole, him pretending to be an Asian person thing. They called him out, still got a job there. I mean, Sapolsky, I'm guessing he's not a petty motherfucker because he called them to give him a job. So.
in 4K's X-Men Monday, we actually got an interview with Alyssa Wong talking about getting the gig, writing Deadpool. Whenever I see these, I get very excited.
I also read this in an interview. If anything, got me more hyped for the book.
Normally get lots of juicy details. In here, Alyssa Wong once again exposes the terrible hiring practices by X-Men group editor Jordan White. I believe they're trying to build up the hype for this Deadpool series. When Marvel revealed the new Deadpool will be loaded with riotous violence and relentless body horror in their official press release. The body horror presumably begins as our titular character finds himself pregnant, while a male becoming pregnant is...
But no, body horror, as in basically every book of Deadpool is body horror. He's constantly getting dismembered, cussing, bloody, and guts. That's the nature of the book. That's the nature of the character. I'm pretty sure that's what he means. That's what they mean by fucking body horror. This, oh my god.
Isn't exactly unusual for Marvel, as it's previously happened with Eddie Brock. It'll certainly be a more chaotic experience with Wade Wilson's Deadpool at the center. While I'm certain with all the things going on
Eddie
in
Brock,
modern
what?
society today, with men being pregnant, and I guess there's a debate about that or whatever, this will certainly generate some headlines and rankle some feathers here and there. Me personally, I think if you're going to do something really weird and off the wall, Deadpool is the character. If you want some necrophilia jokes, Deadpool's your go-to guy. If you want some cannibalism jokes, you go to Deadpool. If you want a male character,
Yeah, but those are just jokes. They're not really done to be taken seriously in terms of cannibalism or necrophilia. So, again, Deadpool doesn't fuck dead people.
in the Marvel Comics universe, Deadpool kind of seems like the character that you would go to. So that personally doesn't really bother me. It kind of fits in with the style and the vibe and the feel of Deadpool, especially within Marvel Comics in the past. It certainly feels like something Rick Remender would have loved doing with the character. Rick Remender, in my opinion, probably has the best voice and ideas as far as how to execute Deadpool in the Marvel Comics universe. Coming in a close second to me would be...
And I actually kind of do agree with that. Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force run was fucking good. One of the best runs of Marvel during those years. And I loved his take on Deadpool because at the time, Deadpool wasn't really being taken that seriously during the Daniel Wade run. So, yeah, holy shit, we actually agree on something. I actually do agree. I honestly think Remender should have done a Deadpool book, but what can you do?
Like a Joe Kelly and whatnot. So, I don't know. That feels like it's definitely in play, inbound with the Deadpool character. But once you start getting into this interview, where Adventures in Poor Taste start asking questions to Alyssa Wong, you can see why this might not have been the best choice possible. First question,
really?
Let's go back to the beginning. How did this opportunity come about? This is what old Alyssa Wong had to say. I happened to meet Jerry Duggan on Free Comic Book Day. He was so nice and asked me if I'd ever...
Jerry Duggan, the man who wrote the best fucking Deadpool run of all time. The best fucking run.
Interested in writing something for the X Office. Later, Jordan D. White reached out for a chat. I pitched him a truly terrible non-Deadpool idea. He was quite gracious about it. While we were talking comics, Deadpool came up. I love writing mouthy wildcard characters with dubious morality, deep emotional scars, and a long string of antagonistic relationships. And
if you read Alyssa Wong's Dr. Afra, you would know what Alyssa is saying.
Had such a good time playing with that comic format while writing my short Young Avengers story for Marvel Voices Pride 2022. Deadpool seemed like a great fit. There's only 2 people in the world after reading your Marvel Voices Pride special story that thought, this is a perfect fit for Deadpool.
The way he talks when he says pride, like, ooh, like, all right, chill out, dude. Like, pride, chill out.
Unfortunately, Jordan D. White is one of them. He's so incompetent. She never even pitched Deadpool. They pitched her. She came in with a story that she admits was truly awful. Like, it shouldn't have been printed. And it was so...
For all you know, buddy, Alyssa was just being fucking sarcastic. The interview is in text, so you don't really get a clear sense of what Alyssa is, in what tone Alyssa is saying it in. You don't know. It was probably bad in the sense that Alyssa came up with in the spot and didn't have enough time to outline the pitch. We don't know. We haven't read it, so we don't know if the pitch is actually terrible. For all I know, Alyssa's probably just being fucking sarcastic. Probably joking.
So bad, Jordan.
This dude takes it so literally.
White said, you know what? Let's elevate you to writing one of the few solo characters that can carry a title within the Marvel Comics universe ongoing and has $1 billion potential in the future in other mediums for Disney and Marvel Studios and the MCU. I don't understand how anyone comes to these decisions, but every single time they hire somebody in the X-Men office, this is essentially the story that you get. Mm-hmm. I had no interest in the title. They came and cold pitched me, and then I ended up writing a terrible X-Men comic book.
That kind of is how a lot of projects are done. Sometimes studios will pitch it to other people. Sometimes people will pitch ideas to the studios. It's a back and forth. It's literally a back and forth. Sometimes they want to do this. Sometimes they tell them to do that. It's fine. I don't really understand why that pisses you off or why that's a negative.
And we knew that Alyssa Wong was going to end up being in the X-Men in some fashion. If you get on the X-Men Slack, like you write a short story, you're part of an anthology, you write a fill-in story, all of a sudden, you're going to get some projects in the future. You just have to get them in the door. I guess it's like a little scheme that they've got going in. The powers that be in the X-Men office, like the real powers that be, not Jordan White, I'm talking Pete Ayala, Teenie Howard, Leah Williams. They know. They get someone in the X-Men Slack. They can essentially make Jordan White put them on a real comic book series, like an ongoing or a big miniseries moving forward. The same thing happened with Steve Orlando, and it's continuing to happen with Alyssa Wong right here.
Notice how he mentions Vita Ayala, Leah Williams, and Teenie Howard. Then mentions fucking Steve Orlando. What do all those people have in common? Vita Ayala is non-binary, and I believe is married to a woman. Leah Williams and Teenie Howard are bisexual, and Steve Orlando is it's very well known that he's a gay man. Kind of funny you mentioned those people. You don't mention Gary Dugan. You don't mention Benjamin Percy or Al Ewing, which is kind of funny because Al Ewing is bi. Ever notice that? Just saying.
At some point, there needs to be a higher standard to writing X-Men. This is the most important team book at Marvel Comics. This is their second most important franchise in the comic book universe behind Spider-Man. Yet the editors cold pitch every Tom, Dick, and Harry with no writing talent to come in and flesh out the universe and further erode, decay, and destroy the X-Men universe as we know it in Marvel Comics. This week was a great example. We got some truly terrible X-Men comics because there's just not a lot of talent in there. And at the heart of all that is
really terrible. Terrible. I've seen largely nothing but overall positive feedback. Yeah, there are some X-Men comics that not everyone likes. Fallen Angels was not exactly well loved. Children of the Atom wasn't exactly, a humongous success. But overall speaking, they've been successful. Do you honestly think they would have keep doing X-Men comics, this line of X-Men comics, constantly doing it more and more and more and more, if it was bad or if it wasn't successful? Do you really think this fucking company, that Marvel, Disney, a fucking multi-billion-dollar company, would continue to lose money on something that's failing? Are you fucking stupid? If it was not making money, they would accent like that, like that. We're not a fucking care in the world. For a capitalist, you really don't really. For capitalists, this motherfucker really does not know how capitalism works.
Is the man being bullied himself, Jordan D. White, because he's so stupid. He's so incompetent. He can't say no to these people, and they're running roughshod over, and they're allowing all their friends to come in here and further decay the universe. The next
Leah Williams literally did an interview about X Factor and the Magneto, trials of Magneto. She literally said she pitched multiple things to the editors. They said no. They would either say no to this or say no to that. They can't say no. What the editors always say no to the writer because some things because it's their job to keep things consistent. That's their job. That's the point of an editor. They're going to say no. Sometimes they're going to say yes. That's their job. They never say no. What the fuck?
Question. What was your favorite Deadpool story arc or run? Most of you are hoping to hear Rob Liefeld, Fabian Nicieza. Hell, even Gail Simone's isn't all that bad.
Oh my God. Rob Liefeld. And Gail Simone is not that bad. Rob Liefeld did not give a single fuck about this character until after he became popular. After Deadpool became this fucking hit of a character, that's when all of a sudden he gave a fuck. You know who the people who really gave Deadpool the identity that he has? It was writers like Fabian Nicieza, the co-creator, or I like to say, the real creator, because he basically gave him an identity during Cable and Deadpool. Gail Simone, Frank Thierry, many other writers, Gary Dugan, Brian Paulson, all of them have done far more for this character than Rob Liefeld has ever done. You ever read some of his fucking Deadpool minis? They're fucking crap, especially the art.
Joe Kelly, great Deadpool writer. Rick Remender, one of the best voices for Deadpool. She has taken none of the above. This is what Alyssa Wong says. Oh man, I'm a huge fan of Jerry Duggan and Brian Posen's.
Based, damn straight. Gary Dugan, Brian Paulson. Yeah, because they made the best fucking Deadpool run ever. Fucking based.
Deadpool, like all of it. It's weird and charming and fun, and that's the magic combination for me. Yet another disturbing trend with all these new writers. When they say, hey, what is your big influence on this character or this team or what you're going to do in X-Men? They always go to like the worst runs possible.
Worst runs. Oh my fucking God. Worst runs. Why? Because Gary Dugan is a soy boy SJW, buddy? Is that it? Gary Dugan's run is literally considered the best Deadpool run of all time, to the point where a lot of people don't even give other runs a chance anymore. It's one of the reasons why I'm hoping they give the Alyssa Wong run a chance.
We've heard people say that X-Men 3, like The Last Stand, was their big influence for X-Men. You're like, I can't believe you're letting people write X-Men comics.
If I would have to guess, if I have to fucking guess, that isn't the. I don't trust this motherfucker for a second. If I have to guess, I'm guessing the interview was basically asking the person, "Hey, what's one of your first exposures to the X-Men?" And they probably said, "Oh yeah, like the X-Men movies, like X-Men: The Last Stand," which is not a wrong to say, because again, you're not really being asked like, "Hey, do you?" You're not being asked like, "What are the quality X-Men stuff you've consumed?" That's not really a question. So again, I don't really know them mentioning X-Men 3. Yeah, I agree, it's a bad movie, but if someone says that, like, yeah, that's one of my first exposures to the characters, I don't know how that makes you go like, ooh, fucking soy boy.
That like that movie. It was complete trash. And now we have a really cool character like Deadpool that's been done right, really, really well, only a handful of times. Jerry Duggan wasn't one of them. And certainly at the beginning, obviously with Brian Posehn co-writing with him, who's an actual comedian, it was more bearable. But as soon as he
fucking bearable. Yeah, because Brian Posehn, from my understanding, is a fairly liberal guy, so I'm guessing that's why.
Moved off, and you had no one funny in the room to keep the jokes flowing and make the comic book kind of bearable. Like, it really exposed Jerry Duggan for what a hack he was on the character of Deadpool. Duggan has done
fucking hack. Jerry Duggan has literally been one of the most successful writers in Marvel. He's doing the X-Men. He's now going to be doing Iron Man. He seems to be very successful from what I see.
Done some good things in the past, specifically with Conan, Savage Avengers, and whatnot. But his voice for Deadpool is truly awful. There are a couple of standout stories when Posehn was co-writing with him, but for the most part, Jerry Duggan's run is infinitely forgettable, which is an even bigger travesty when you think that he's written more Deadpool comics, I think, than anyone in the history of Marvel Comics.
Damn sure.
Why couldn't you say Rick Remender? Uncanny X-Force was such a short run, and it's the perfect way to use Deadpool in the modern comic book universe. You can go a little bit older school. Joe Kelly had a fantastic run with Deadpool with Cable and really did some fantastic things and showed how this character can be utilized in the greater Marvel.
Joe Kelly didn't do Cable and Deadpool. That was Fabian Ciesa. Come on, dude. Come on. Keep up.
Universe to realize some really good comic book storytelling. Yet she's going, well, not the worst run, but one of the worst runs in Deadpool comic book history, because
it's not. He keeps saying she. It's them. Alyssa Wong is non-binary, and if I do say she, it is by accident. It is by genuine accident. They're non-binary. They go by them. You know, constant misgendering here.
Jerry Duggan got her the job in the office, so I guess I should read Jerry Duggan Deadpool rather than going out there and find the very best Deadpool comic books available. This is a troubling trend happening with every single writer in the X-Men office these days. It's very disappointing. When asked what the immaturity level of your Deadpool series is going to be on a scale of 1 to 10, this is what Alyssa Wong had to say. If 1 is squeaky clean and 10 is middle school poop jokes, I think I'd rate this series a level 4 or 5. There are a lot of very stupid jokes and bizarre body stuff, and Deadpool just wants to smooch so badly. But I never want to get too mean about it. Being mean is easy, and there are lots of other ways to be an annoying, entertaining ding-dong without it. This is basic misunderstanding of Deadpool. You need to be at a 10 if you're writing a Deadpool comic book. This thing needs to be loaded with middle school poop jokes and dumbass humor, and it does need to be mean, but you need to be.
There's a fine. I'm pretty sure Alyssa is saying there's a fine line between being, fucking funny and being mean-spirited. Because, there's a middle ground there. There's a fine line between being annoying and being fucking mean-spirited. You're annoying maybe because of social anxiety, or maybe because of you have some mental problems, and that's not what Alyssa is saying. Alyssa Wong is just saying that that they don't want the Deadpool book to be mean-spirited towards Wade, which I kind of prefer that.
Be a good enough writer to write kind of.
There's only so much you can do in a Deadpool book and constantly shitting on him before it just becomes so fucking mean-spirited that you turn off the reader. That's one of the things a lot of Deadpool fans hate, constantly shitting on him. People hate that. I fucking hate that. Because people want Wade to be, happy.
With a mean spirit about it, but continue to make the character likable and empathetic and keep readers rooting for Deadpool, even though a lot of the times he does handle himself like he's about 12 years old. And there are lots of grotesque, stupid jokes in there. Being mean and unfunny is very, very easy. Being mean and funny at the same time while not destroying your character is very, very difficult. That's one of the real strengths of Rick Remender as a writer, and that's why I think his voice for Deadpool is the best modern version of Deadpool that we've gotten. If Alyssa Wong really wanted to write great Deadpool, she would understand you need to embrace the stupid poop humor, you need to embrace the meanness, and you need to be able to do it all with a smile while not ruining the character at the same time. That's why Deadpool is so very difficult to write at a very high level. I think they got it right in the first Deadpool movie, not quite as right in the second one, but there are a lot.
Which is kind of funny considering that the Deadpool 2 film was literally written by the same people. So it's literally the same. The only thing in Deadpool 2 that I thought they could have cut back were the jokes during his death scene. Maybe cut a little bit, one or two jokes out there, and yeah, it would have been more, a little bit more, pathful. Outside of that, same shit, dude. Same shit, dude. Just more bigger in scale.
Lots of examples out there of why Deadpool.
I mean, if anything, Deadpool 2, if anything, takes way more seriously than the first one. If anything, that's one of the reasons why I love Deadpool 2 more. It takes the character more seriously. Yeah, I wish they cut back maybe on a few jokes from the death scene, but outside of that, they took it more seriously. He was constantly depressed in the whole movie.
Successful and how you can handle the character in the future to have a really standout, cool Deadpool run. I don't believe Alyssa Wong has it in her. She does cite her work on Dr. Aphra as kind of a proving point that she's ready for Deadpool. I would come with the exact opposite takeaway after reading some of her Dr. Aphra work. She's just not funny. She's not mean-spirited. She's not a good comic book writer. She doesn't do it.
And Dr. Aphra is literally over 20 issues with, from my understanding, no signs of ending soon. Take that with what you will, I guess.
Adventure or action very well, and is undeniably ill-suited for a character like Deadpool, and certainly has not merited an opportunity to move up to a character of the stature of Deadpool, given the history that the character does have regarding sales and whatnot. This used to be prime-time real estate for very good comic book creators that had the right sense of humor. But in today's comic book universe, when you have morons like Jordan D. White running the show, you don't have to be talented. You don't have to have the right voice or the character. You just have to be friends with the right people, and they will bully him into giving you a comic book series. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you'd like some more conversation about this, I did talk about...
Yeah, motherfucker, you're going to give me this fucking comic to write, or I'm going to fucking throw you in the fucking locker room, bro. Fucking... Oh my god, this fucking man, baby.
Good friend Aaron Sparrow, comic book writer and editor, about how Alyssa Wong had failed her way up after really trashing C.B. Cebulski and doing some other kind of nasty things at Marvel Comics. But this is the age that we're in. You don't have to be talented to get a premier character like Deadpool anymore. Definitely check.
Yeah, calling out C.B. Cebulski. Mind you, Alyssa called out C.B. Cebulski over the pretending to be an Asian writer thing. Something that even C.B. Cebulski flat out even admitted was a dumb thing to do. And also other nasty shit like what? Or like what? Those supposed tweets against Stan Lee when Stan Lee died, even though it got revealed those were fake, that it was so fake that the Quartering had to delete his video because someone told him he could possibly get sued. But yeah. There's so much fucking bullshit. Anyone who's ever read Deadpool knows Gary Dugan. That is like the pinnacle of Deadpool. And again, if Alyssa gave them a pitch and they saw that pitch and they were like, man, that fits Deadpool to a T, and they were like, would you like to write Deadpool? And Alyssa says, yes. I don't know what the fuck is the problem. And I give the fucking book a chance before you fucking judge, but that's how these fucking people operate. But hope you guys enjoyed. Later.